America is a flawed medical model. We are trained a certain way. We're trained not to think outside of a box very much and to diagnose and treat problems instead of working on prevention. So that's been a major issue that we've seen, and frankly, we want to change.
Yeah, and it's not their fault. It's a system. Practitioners didn't go to school to become business people. It gets overwhelming sometimes for an individual. And so a lot of times they sell out to bigger corporations. You lose the ability to be able to manage patients and do what really is right for the patient. Welcome to Look Good, Feel Good with Matt and Amy McKinley, the podcast where we bring you expert advice and honest, real talk on health, wellness, and feeling your absolute best. From hormone optimization to aesthetics and everything in between, we're here to help you live your best life. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Look Good and Feel Good with Matt and Amy. I'm Amy.
Hello, I'm Matt.
Today we are talking about something that's, it's kind of a little hard to talk about. I don't know.
It's something we're passionate about too. It's not hard to talk about.
Okay, well, the title of our podcast is Your Doctor Keeping You Sick? And, that's a bold question, but hang with us while we talk about this. So start us out, Matt.
Yes, so we are not anti-doctor, anti-practitioner. We are practitioners. We both have more than 2 decades of experience as a practitioner. But what we see right now in America is a flawed medical model. We are trained a certain way. We're trained not to think outside of a box very much and to diagnose and treat problems instead of working on prevention. So that's been a major issue that we've seen, and frankly, we want to change.
Yeah, and it's not their fault. It's a system. We were trained this way. If there was something wrong, like let's say high cholesterol, a statin, that's what we were trained to give, is a statin, instead of looking at insulin resistance or hormones as the cause of that. Diabetes, they have type 2 diabetes, give them insulin or, some other medications instead of looking at insulin resistance.
Basically treating the symptom and not the cause.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's what we were taught to do. And so as we have relearned things, it's kind of, we've almost had our eyes open. Gosh, we should have learned this stuff and we should have learned it, but we did not learn it. And I hope there's a movement coming. I believe there is a movement coming that this is important, that optimizing hormones is important, and hopefully it'll start being taught in schools.
Well, we're part of the movement, but there are a lot of other practices out there that are following this model. Like Amy said, it's no one's fault, but it's the way the system has been set up. When I started my practice 25 years ago now, there were actually 28 years. Holy crap.
I know.
That's a while. Most of the medical models you saw were private practices, private orthopedic practices, private dermatology practices, private family practice, you name it. But now I would say at least more than 90% of every practice is owned by a system, by a hospital or a healthcare system.
Yeah. And we've kind of talked about this. I've worked in medicine since I've been 16 years old, like a crazy. I look back, I grew up in Vegas and worked in a doctor's office in internal medicine next to the hospital. It's a private practice, internal medicine practice. And, that's how a lot of the medicines were. And when I went off, when we were first married, I worked at a private family practice group. But now medicine has changed. Doctors didn't go to school. Practitioners didn't go to school to become business people. They went to school to help people, really.
We all did. That's why we went to school.
But it is true. But at the same time, when they get into the practice, they have to manage employees. They have to manage HR. They have to manage, payroll and taxes, there's just so much that goes into a business.
Leadership.
It gets overwhelming sometimes for an individual. And so a lot of times they sell out to bigger corporations. And that's kind of what's happened in the last 10 years. I've seen this big sellout to big corporations and EMR, electronic medical records. Like the government has dictated a lot of reinsurance reimbursement. You have to have this and you have to have this and you have to have this. And it's overwhelming. So they sell out to big corporations that manage that for them. They manage the employees, and all the systems.
It kind of came down to big daddy government that put new regulations in place that have hampered
for medicine,
physicians to own their own practices because of all the regulations. So profit margins diminished. Practitioners decided, I don't want all the headaches.
So
I want to make a good salary. I'll just sell my practice and work for someone else and they can deal with all the headaches.
But you lose that ability.
You lose freedom. You lose control.
You lose control and freedom. Yep, you're exactly right. And so a lot of times it's like doctors are getting, or practitioners are being paid on RVUs, which is how many patients they see in a day. If they're doing this and this, that's what they get paid on. And so you lose the ability to be able to manage patients and do what really is right for the patient. And so, they show up to work and it's just fixing the disease instead of like looking for the root cause of the disease.
Yeah. So what we're doing with regenerative medicine is trying to regenerate what we've lost, right? Like Amy said, instead of chasing a symptom, we want to get to the root of the problem and fix that, because guess what? When you fix that, it's not a temporary fix. It can become a permanent fix. It's something that takes both the practitioner and the patient to participate in actively. Like, we don't want to give you a pill and say, just take this, it'll make you better. No, we want you to understand what it takes to get there and stay there. And it's part of it is you doing your part as a patient, and we coach you and tell you what you need to do to get to where you want to be.
You said the traditional model is reactive. You get diagnosed when something breaks. We believe in, we talked about a little proactive model. And so, let's fix it before it breaks by optimizing.
Can I give one example about that? So it's like a car, right? So when you buy a car, you just don't drive it until it breaks down, right? I mean, you can, but that's a bad investment. So when you buy a new car, you take it in for maintenance, you get new tires,
get oil changed,
new brakes, you get oil changes, you get everything done along the way. And it's an investment. Yeah. It's an investment on the future value of that car. Now, we do that with our health.
We don't think of the same way, because we think of it as, insurance to take care of us. And
we got to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. And there's an investment in it, and that's why we're here. We offer a different path. It's, one that listens, we investigate, and we actually look towards, healing versus fixing the problem. It's one of those things where we're not just reactive, being proactive.
Proactive in everything we do. That's how it should be in life too, really.
Yeah.
A great example is a patient that comes in and they've been placed on antidepressants, and they said, I've never felt depressed. I always felt like it was something else. And so they're put on antidepressants, which cause other symptoms. Mm-hmm. They're not addressing the root problem. Someone that has elevated blood sugars, they're put on a medicine instead of addressing the root problem of insulin resistance.
I also think about sleeping. There's so many women out there as we get older have a hard time sleeping. So we get put on Ambien.
Sleeping meds over the
which
counter
is
stuff.
Kind of... then you become reliant on those medications. I was on them. I know exactly how it is, and I had to wean myself off it.
Well, and that's what Big Pharma wants. They want you to become dependent on their medicines so that they continue to pump them into your body for the rest of your life and make money off of us, really, is what it boils down to.
It's true. So, we don't mean to ditch your doctors or anything like that, right, Matt?
No, we're not saying, hey, get rid of your physicians. We love our colleagues. We are not throwing anyone under a bus, because we're not perfect either. But what we're asking, or what we recommend, I should say, is for you to think about what the best route is for your health and your health care.
It was interesting. I was sitting at a meeting in Salt Lake City, and I was sitting next to, there was doctors from all over the country, and actually the world, because there was people from Italy and Canada. Anyway, I was sitting next to this doctor who was from Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are you here? And it was a hormone class. And he was like, well, my wife, she got on some hormones, and with her friend from California, she told me about her friend from California. Anyway, got on some hormones, and she felt so much better. And she said, honey, you need to go learn how to do hormones and help your patients. So she set him up for this class. And so after the weekend course, after we were done, the 3 days, and we had some more courses to go to in the future, but me and him looked at each other and we're like, do you feel like you kind of got duped in school? Like all the stuff that you learned, now you feel like, what was that? Why did I think that? And it doesn't even make sense. And the studies back it up. And so it's been fun kind of waking up to the truth of Big Pharma. And I used to not think that, but now I've seen it. And so it's been fun to kind of relearn things. It almost feels like I'm waking up.
Yeah, a lot of times I worked with a surgeon that did the same ACL reconstruction for 20 years. So he kind of refused to advance with technology, and everyone knew it. I mean, all of his colleagues, everyone that worked around him, they're like, this guy still does it the way he did when he came out of college. I worked with other physicians that advanced with technology. It's like, hey, if there's a better way, why don't we do that? And that's always the philosophy that I've had, and Amy has.
Well, you learn something, why not change? And
if there's a better way for you, why aren't we doing it?
So, if you've ever felt unheard, dismissed, or just stuck in the system. We see you and we are here to help you, and we want to get your health back.
I would just kind of piggyback on that. Take control of your own health. We don't care how you do it, but take control of your own health, because you are the CEO of your health and your body, and you want to live your best life with QTR, quality time remaining, because that's what it's about. Without your health, you have nothing.
It is true.
You need to be the one that dictates how your health is.
Well, thank you for joining us today with Look Good and Feel Good with Matt and Amy. Hope to see you guys again soon.
See you soon. Have a great week.
Thanks.